Hello again, my name is Michael and today I am comparing two sniper rifles in Planetside 2. I play mainly the Vanu, so I'm comparing the Parallax and the XM98. The equivalent sniper rifles for the other factions are the Rams 50 for the Terrans and the EM4 Longshot for the NC, and the M77B for the Terrans and the Bolt Driver for the NC. I chose to compare these rifles for their very similar stats, but the cost on the weapons differs by a vast amount. My question is the Parallax worth getting over the XM98? Okay, so let's begin with some cold hard stats. Both the XM98 and the Parallax are Vanu bolt action sniper rifles for the infiltrators only. The XM98 can be unlocked for 100 certification points or 250 station cash, while the Parallax can be unlocked for 1000 certification points or 700 station cash. That makes the Parallax 10 times more expensive than the XM98 if you compare it in certs. When you first enter Planetside 2, you start off with a semi-auto sniper rifle, except if you're NZ cheater. So a dedicated sniper would probably like an upgrade fairly quickly. The high price of the Parallax will most often be too big of a step to take, leading to people getting the XM98 instead, due to its low cost but similar stats compared to the high-end weapons. The damage on the Parallax is a tad higher, 800 up to 10 meters compared to the 750 up to 10 meters for the XM98. The minimum damages are the same for both rifles, 550, but the minimum damage starts with the Parallax at 100 meters and with the XM98 at 75 meters. That basically means that the Parallax has a slightly lower damage drop-off. The 50 extra damage is mostly, if not totally useless, as it's not in the range that people snipe at very commonly. There is one benefit though. If you hit the body or the limbs from a certain range, you will need less shots from your secondary weapon to finish off your target. That happens very rarely though, but it can happen and it's a factor that we have to count in, right? Reload times are not a big factor in sniping, but there might be situations where you'll benefit from a faster reload time. The XM98 has a short reload of 3.5 seconds and a long reload of 5 seconds, whereas the Parallax has a short reload of 4 seconds and a long reload of 6 seconds. The longer reload times aren't that big of a problem, since you can stay cloaked for the reload time anyways. Something to mention quickly is hipfire accuracy. If you catch someone really close and you don't have time to aim, you'll probably have to hipfire. The XM98 has just a little bit better accuracy while firing from the hip, while crouching, moving and sprinting. Not by much though, you can hardly tell the difference. Here you can see some comparisons on the hipfire spread. Okay, so until this point I haven't found a single thing that is better with the Parallax compared to the XM98. Well, if you forget that damage part, but it wasn't too significant. So let's give the Parallax some praise. Here comes the only kicker of the weapon. The Parallax has a higher muzzle velocity than any other sniper rifle in the game. It's the same as the equivalent rifles for the Terran and the NC, clocking in at 650 meters per second. The XM98 has significantly less, sitting at only 550 meters per second. So, what does a higher muzzle velocity actually mean? Higher muzzle velocity is immensely beneficial at long-range engagements that both rifles are designed for. It decreases the amount you need to lead and predict enemy movement. It also decreases the bullet drop of the weapon significantly. Here are some side-by-side comparisons of the XM98 and the Parallax. You can see the difference with both bullet drop and muzzle velocity. If you have played with the XM98 for some time, like I have, and then switch over to the Parallax, there's a bit of a period when you need to get used to the increased muzzle velocity. At the end of the day though, the Parallax is easier to handle and easier to land those crucial headshots with. Both weapons come with exactly the same attachments, which are scopes from 6x to 12x, including then 6x, 7x, 8x, 10x and 12x. Suppressor is the only available barrel attachment. The suppressor can be beneficial at close ranges if you decide to snipe at close ranges. And then we have two rail attachments, which are the flashlight and the forward grip. All the attachments except the scopes are pretty much unnecessary. The suppressor can be of use if you're sniping at very close ranges, where you can be seen on the minimap if firing a weapon. That is rarely a place you want to be sniping, but if you enjoy it, go ahead. You want to stay away from the rail attachments, since none of them provide a use for a long-range role. So, how do the weapons work in game? Now, disregarding the stats, I think that both the XM98 and the Parallax are extremely good rifles for a long range. I played with the XM98 countless and countless of hours and it has been a ton of fun. Then once I got the Parallax, I don't know, felt strange at first, as I said. It was hard to use and hard to get used to, I'd say. But when you get used to it, it's a wonder. It works like magic. The increased muzzle velocity helps so much. It's so good at long ranges. You don't have to compensate as much. You don't have to aim, miles above the head. You don't have to predict where the enemy is going as much. It's a noob-friendly sniper rifle, and it improves your efficiency if you're a good sniper already. Now, onto some sad news before I give my final verdict. If you haven't already heard, there will be a long-range sniping nerf. There will be no more one-hit kills from 150 meters or more. According to SOE, it devalues the gameplay experience if you get insta-gibbed by a guy you can't see from 250 meters. I can clearly see their point, but it takes a very good sniper to be accurate at those extreme ranges, and it's close to impossible to hit a moving target from that range. I think it's okay as it is. If you just keep moving, you're less likely to get killed by a faraway infiltrator. Easy as that. Okay, so here's my final verdict. Both the Parallax and the XM98 are very, very good rifles at long ranges, but due to the extreme costs of the Parallax and no real benefits relative to the price difference, I would go for the XM98. If I had an unlimited amount of certification points though, I would grab myself a Parallax. The increased muzzle velocity is just so good. It makes the rifle very easy to handle at long ranges. Well, regarding the upcoming long-distance sniping nerf, I would hold back on buying either one. SOE said that the changes can still be tweaked, and I sincerely hope so, but that is out of the subject. I can truly say that the stats didn't look good for the Parallax, but after testing it in-game, I must say the Parallax is much better than the stats might tell. If you like sniping, the Parallax is something to definitely look into. Thanks for watching. See you next time.